A wonderful day to each and every one of you. Welcome to this virtual commentary, this virtual tour guide. My name is Jerome Theodore Frencillo, and I will be in charge of giving you the virtual tour for the scenery, the history of Baguio City. For today's tour, we will be exploring the wonderful and historical landmarks of Baguio City. This won't be your typical tour guiding experience. Imagine that all of you are back at school learning the history of Baguio City. But this time, all of you will be shown the specific locations, their histories, and their contributions to this city. It'll be an educational adventure for each and every one of you, including myself. And I am so happy to be in charge of giving you guys the tour. I hope each and every one of you will enjoy this experience. Before we proceed further into the virtual commentary or the virtual tour, I would like to talk about the brief history of Baguio City. The places surrounding Baguio were first settled primarily by the Iboloys and the Cancanayes. In the nearby town of La Trinidad Benguet, Spaniards established a Zeus or military garrison, but the Cafaguay, Baguio City's former name, was barely touched. When the American took possession of the Philippines, Baguio started to be known. Much of these American soldiers, from the general to the lowest clerk, they would take their summer vacation at Baguio to escape the heat of summer. They then named the place as the summer capital of the Philippines. In the year 1903, the Filipino, Japanese, and Chinese workers were hired to build the first road directly connecting Baguio with the lowlands of Pangasinan, the Cannon Road. On September 1, 1909, Baguio was declared a chartered city, the second after the city of Manila. They further developed Baguio, building parks and public structures such as Wright Park in honor of Governor General Luke E. Wright, Burnham Park in honor of Baguio City planner Daniel Burnham. Maybe everyone is wondering, what is so special about Baguio City? As mentioned a while ago, yes, Baguio City is the summer capital of the Philippines and also known as the City of Pines. But what people don't really know is that there was more to it than that. Before Baguio City, there was a lot of events that were happening during that time. Before Baguio City was Baguio City, it was called Cafaguay, which means wide open space. And the rest of it starts there. Baguio City was first called Cafaguay, meaning wide open space, where the Iboloy and the Cancanay tribes lived before the place was visited by three different nations. The first of the three nations that visited here were the Spanish during their occupation. The Spanish conducted several expeditions, but their attempts ended in failure until 1846 when their Comandante de Galvez arrived to establish a military garrison. The second to arrive here were the Americans, as they developed Baguio to be their secondary home, making it their only hill station in Asia. The Americans are the reason why we have a cool temperature here, because they wanted to escape from the extreme heat of the lowlands, as well as the construction of Cannon Road, which the majority of the tourists take to visit Baguio City. Finally, the third to visit our city were the Japanese, and this was during the Second World War. In the year 1941, the Japanese bombed Baguio City, which resulted in a devastated state soon after they relocated to Camp Junhei the following year. 4 years later, the Japanese general Tomoyuki Yamashita surrendered to the Americans at the US ambassador's residence at Camp Junhei, where you can go and see monuments and images from that time. After that began the long rehabilitation of Baguio City. That was the history of how Baguio City was named and made. Now, as we proceed to our virtual tour, I will be talking about the virtual tour itself, as we will start from Cannon Road, the very first route that we will be taking upon entering Baguio City. I want to talk about the tour that will be taking us to Baguio City, the road that will be leading us to the city or the summer capital of the Philippines or the City of Pines. Cannon Road is a 41.2 kilometer long hilly road in Benguet Province that connects Baguio City to the town of Rosario in La Union and provides the quickest access to Baguio from Manila and other provinces in central and southern Luzon. As mentioned a while ago, it was one of the most challenging and expensive civil engineering projects of its day, and was once known as Benguet Road. It was completed in 1905 and opened for travel. Since they were literally working on a mountain at that time, hundreds of these employees perished from malaria and many more died due to accidental falls. After the road was finished, it was called Cannon Road in honor of Colonel Lyman Walter Veer Cannon. I would like all of you to pay attention to the structure that we are approaching right now, which is the Lion's Head. It is a 40-foot tall limestone structure that is located 10 to 15 kilometers outside of the city center and is a well-liked tourist destination along Cannon Road. Contrary to common assumption, Reynaldo Lopez Naniak, an Ifugao artist, created it with the help of Lions Club members in the year 1971. It experienced the same fate as the Cannon Road. After the 1990 earthquake and damage discovered in the sculpture made the fissures worse, the Baguio Lions Club once again took the lead in restoring the broken lion's head, despite the fact that the final appearance and color are noticeably different from the original. However, it is still a favorite among visitors today, and a must-see for visitors to Baguio City for the first time. As we formally arrive our destination here at the summer capital of the Philippines, or the City of Pines, we have finally arrived at Baguio City. Here we will have our tour being designated for each venues that we will be visiting one by one, but we will be following the route that we will be taking, which is the closest destination first, which is Camp John Hay. We will be passing by Camp John Hay. Camp John Hay was transformed into a military outpost and hospital for soldiers stationed in the Philippines in 1903. Because of its serene ambience and fragrant pines, they thought it was ideal for such purposes. It evolved into a location where wounded bodies and battered psyches of American troops could be rehabilitated in order to regain their vigor. The diversity of historical events that occurred at Camp John Hay is expanded by a number of the camp's attractions, such as the Cemetery of Negativism, which was first built to aid troops in burying their bad attitudes. It still serves that duty as of this writing. It acts as a stark warning to those who enter to be more upbeat and not allow negativity to get in the way. It has been a tradition in the Philippines that during Halloween, people would visit the graves of their departed loved ones in the cemetery. Candles are lit in remembrance of their souls. The cemetery becomes the focal point of the season where people flock to. But there is one other cemetery in the country where people visit not for their late relatives or friends, but for the negative traits people buried in this hill. It's the Cemetery of Negativism, also called the Lost Cemetery, found near the historical core of Camp John Hay, Baguio. Next, we are approaching the manor at Camp John Hay. It is a 176-room luxury hotel located at the former American Air Base in Baguio City, featuring a 4-story property built in a log cabin design and boasts of 5-star accommodation, amenities, and services. The hotel beautifully blends with the surrounding pine trees, and it is one of the very few hotels in Baguio City that offers a scenic view of the verdant side of the Cordillera mountain range that is not obstructed by buildings and houses. The manor officially opened in the year 2000 and is among the few hotels in Baguio City that has an outstanding luxury log cabin architectural design. At 15 years old, the hotel excellently maintained the building's condition. The external paintwork looks fresh and there are no maintenance issues evident to the guests. Adding more touches to luxury, it is the hotel's well-manicured garden that makes for a suitable place for morning or afternoon strolls. The lawn is also perfect for garden weddings and other events. Now, before we formally leave Camp John Hay, our last destination that we will be passing by is the Baguio Country Club. It was founded by Governor General William Cameron Forbes in the year 1905 to provide sports and recreation for the migrant residents of Baguio and to promote this mountain area as a pleasurable and restful summer respite and destination. In the later years and later decades, saw the Baguio Country Club take firm root, improve, and expand. It continued to offer comfortable accommodation, a meeting place, and a place for outdoor and indoor sports in the highlands of the Cordillera. It carries the chic luxury of its past and the feel and hospitality of a modern private home. Since the time of its construction, Through continuous transformations and innovation in the service industry, the club is rated as one of the AAA hotels and resorts of the Philippines by the Department of Tourism, having reached its 100 years of existence in the year 2005. The National Historical Institute bestowed Baguio Country Club as one of the national heritages in the country. My wonderful virtual tourists, I hope you enjoyed the destination, which was Camp John Hay. I know you had a lot of experiences with the history that was given in this tour. Next, we will be going to the city itself, Baguio City. But where exactly are we going to go to inside the city? Well, the one place where it's most famous for, Session Road. We have finally arrived at Session Road, one of the famous roads in Baguio City, which is held by numerous activities such as festivals and holiday events. And to be specific, one festival in mind is probably the biggest festival here in Baguio City, which is the Panagbenga Festival. the Panagbanga started with just an idea that Baguio City should, like any other towns and cities in the Philippines, have its own fiesta or festival celebrations. Having been created a city by the Americans during their occupation of the Philippines, Baguio did not start as a town during the Spanish colonial period that had a patron saint with a feast day. Its Charter Day anniversary is on September 1, which falls right in the middle of the country's rainy season, which does not allow for parades and other outdoor activities that usually are the highlights of the celebrations. In the year 1995, when Attorney Damaso E. Bangawit Jr. proposed the idea of organizing a flower festival to be held in February to the directors of the John Hay Poro Point Development Corporation, his suggestion received their immediate approval. Thereafter, the idea was presented to the different sectors of Baguio society, and the response, also warm and immediate, eventually grew as a wellspring of community support. In the beginning, the Panagbanga was a series of celebrations that were held over a period of 10 days encompassing 2 weekends. The first being the launching ceremonies, the weekdays being Session Road in bloom, and the last weekend was when the grand parades are held. Due to its popularity, the period was extended to 2 weeks, then 3, then held for the whole month of February, always taking full advantage of the presence of the alumni of the Philippine Military Academy during PMA week, which is time for the Valentine's Day. Now the festival stretches to 5 weeks. A few years later, the Baguio Flower Festival Foundation was organized to manage the festival. The Panagbanga has always received huge media coverage because of the instantaneous popularity it has enjoyed from the very beginning. Every year, visitors are treated to a display of the strength of the local community spirit as the residents stage the hottest show in the coolest city in the Philippines. That concludes our tour for Session Road, in which I have fully discussed the Panagbanga Festival, and I am so happy that you guys enjoyed the montage that I have presented. I highly recommend each and every one of you to at least come by every February to experience this wonderful festival of Baguio City. For our next destination, we will be going to Burnham Park. I have been discussing this specific destination earlier in the historical briefing that I have discussed in the beginning of the video, and we will be touring around Burnham Park, and I hope that you guys will enjoy what's in store in there. Famous American architect and urban planner Daniel Hudson Burnham created Burnham Park in its initial form in 1904. He also created the initial blueprint for Baguio City. The 32.84 hectare municipal park has a view of Mount Cabuyao, the highest mountain in the area. It has grass, paved walkways, wooded areas, several flower beds, and a man-made lake, also known as Burnham Lagoon. In addition to providing a pleasant place to wander about on a beautiful day, it also functions as a sort of entertainment park with boats, bicycle rentals, skating facilities, sports fields, and cafes. The park, which is almost a century old, was first created as a recreational hub for the United States. Forces of arms, you could tell, because there are multiple roads leading to Camp John Hay, a former US Army leisure center all around the park. More than 100 individuals were murdered and numerous homes were destroyed in Baguio City in 1990's powerful Luzon earthquake. At that time, Burnham Park operated as a makeshift camp for all the evacuated residents of the area. The park is a favorite place for both locals and tourists. This place is often fully packed with people regardless if it is rainy or not. The most famous activity in the park is biking. There are lots of bicycles for rent at a very reasonable price. It is a perfect activity for children and even adults. One of the few areas that are the highlights of this area would be the children's playground. This part of the park is where the young ones and the young at heart can run around and play. Next, as mentioned before, is Burnham Lagoon, the man-made lake with rowboats for hire. This part of the park is where people can feel the cold weather of the city while enjoying a boat ride. The skating rink. This is located at the south part of the park where people can do skating. Currently, there is a small amusement park located inside the rink. There are different kinds of rides that the children, even the adults, can enjoy. If you're a person of culture, there is also an Igorot garden. This garden is famous for the locals, especially to those who love to play chess. A statue of 5 main Igorot tribes, the Ibaloys, the Bontocs, the Kalingas, the Ifugaos, and the Kankanayes, can be found in the area. If you're feeling sporty or want to go for a run, the athletic ball is not that far away. This is a sporting place located within the grounds of the Burnham Park. I hope you guys enjoyed Burnham Park as much as I did. This really holds a special place for all of the locals and for Baguio City itself. And I hope that you guys will continue to visit us here in Burnham Park, since it's a really good place for anyone, especially. Next, I will be talking about and bringing you guys to our last destination. Unfortunately, we will be going to a museum which will show all of the historical artifacts, historical relics, historical pictures of Baguio City, and more artifacts that could be of other regions as well. Inspired by Ifugao architecture, the museum is made of stone and wood and features a striking pyramid roof and 2 huge concrete poles at the stair entrance that resemble a traditional Ifugao home, with an elevated floor supported by posts. This time-honored museum was built in 1975. At the corner of Governor Pack Road and Harrison Road, it was hit by a major earthquake in 1990, same with Burnham Park as mentioned a while ago, but was rebuilt after a decade to continue its purpose. Baguio Museum houses various artifacts and educational clippings that let you learn about the history of Baguio and the lives of the different Cordillera region, the Benguet, Kalinga, Apayao, Mountain Province, Abra, and Ifugao. Baguio is part of Benguet Province. There are also miniature dioramas that give you a better picture of their communities. Also on the main floor is a real-life mummy in its coffin, which visitors are not allowed to take photos of out of respect for the dead. The 3rd floor is dedicated to the history of Baguio City. It is where you can see and read in detail the discovery of Baguio as a land of pine trees and its development into a civilized land. You can't help but be amazed, or shocked even, at the 3 architectural models, one of which shows Baguio as an untouched greenland, a stark contrast to its current state where the number of structures is fast catching up with the number of pine trees. Meanwhile, the 1st floor serves as a space for special exhibits and events, while the 4th floor is currently being renovated. Before we properly end the virtual tour, I would like to present you a short video of the evolution of Baguio City and see its upbringings, see its contributions, and see how it became as it is now. And I hope you guys will enjoy the video. What you're watching now is the current state of the city that you guys have been watching, what you guys have learned, what you guys have experienced. Each and every location has its story, and its story has its contributions to the city. And the city developed because of those contributions. From the history that has been stated previously, producing its upbringing to the city that we know and love, Baguio City will continue to be the destination for each and every individual that are very much welcome to enter, to live, to enjoy, to be entertained, and for many more experiences that they are looking for. Baguio City, the summer capital of the Philippines, the city of pines. I hope each and every one of you have enjoyed the virtual tour of Baguio City and its historical upbringings and its historical landmarks and its historical contributions. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for watching this virtual tour, and I hope we will see you in the future. For video-wise, all of the videos that have been used for this video, I do not own them. I did not edit them. It all falls respectfully to the owners themselves, so I will provide the links of not every video but for their channels if you guys are interested of finding out more historical videos about Baguio City. I will leave them down below in the description. That is it for the virtual tour. Again, my name is Jerome Theodore Frencillo, and I am thankful for this opportunity to guide you guys for our historical city, Baguio City. Thank you.